What's up, guys? It is another beautiful day out here. Tuesday, another day, another double. We are going to get some miles in. I am front loading my week this week because we have graduation this weekend. I'm graduating with my MBA. We're going to put another degree. Look. We got that one right there. We're going to put another one right there, I think. I don't know. Probably won't even display it. But today, we're going to get some miles in. Oh, you can't even see this. It's a secret shoe. No, it's not. Let me brighten it up. Boom. Saucony Ride 17. So this is one that I cracked open a month or so ago, and I've been getting some miles and some other things. Max Road, Invincible 3. Where's the... You guys already know about that shoe. The 22. And after running in the Triumph, I thought I needed to revisit the Ride 17 because this is using the same foam as the older Triumph, the Triumph 20, which I really loved, this Power Run Plus. Power Run Plus, a little hard to say. So today, we are going to get some more miles in the Ride 17, really put it through the paces. I have about 12 miles on this guy now, but these double days, man, they always expose the strengths and the weaknesses of these shoes. So Ride 17, you are stepping into the squared circle. I don't even know what that means, but sounds provocative. Gets people going. Boom. Slug watch. Yes. We got slugs here. We got slugs. I don't know. We got lots of slugs, though. So we're going to get right into it with some miles this morning. So Ride 17 here. First run that I did in it, I think it was 8 miles in the morning and then 4 in the afternoon. It was pouring rain in the afternoon. So I also did a double day, but it was only a 12-mile double. And I remember the shoe feeling firm but fun. And that was one of the biggest surprises of this shoe because the Power Run Plus, and you can see here, it's this beaded TPU foam from the Triumph 20 and 21. And I didn't remember it feeling this firm in the version of the Triumph that I had. So a little bit different foam formulation. A little bit different foam formulation here than in some of the other Saucony Power Run Plus shoes. But the Ride has always been a little bit of a firmer shoe. Now, I don't mind that. I actually really liked the Adidas Audi Zero XL, which is really similar to this, actually, with the stack height, with that's probably a little bit lighter, but with the stack height, with the drop and everything, it's an 8mm drop, and it's about 35mm in the heel, so it feels like a standard running shoe, and that's the things that I did like about it on the first day. It doesn't feel weird. It feels normal, but that's not enough usually for me to fall for a shoe. So things I didn't like was pretty similar. They're pretty similar. It's the other edge of that story. It just felt a little bit workaday, a little bit lackluster, a little bit plain Jane, as A$AP Ferg would say, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for $140 these days, you have shoes like the Mach 6, the Nova Blast, I'm trying to think, there's one more, Rebel V4, and then you have Vomero that you can find on sale for under $140. The bugs are getting me. I don't know how we're going to make it through the summer, but the Vomero for under $140, the DV8 Nitro 2 for under $140. So for $140, you got to have a little bit more than durability and reliability to make me want to buy a shoe. And so that's what I'm going to be checking for today because it was a solid ride, but I want to see how it stacks up to some of those other shoes on the market and if there's more to this value proposition than just being stable, reliable, go-to workhorse. Because thinking about this $140 daily trainer category, almost every single shoe that I like, even a shoe like the Supernova Rise, that's offering something a little bit different. The foam in there has a nice soft bounce to it. It's got a nice pep. It's comfortable. It's stable. With this guy, it just feels a little bit vanilla, and there is always a place for me for a vanilla shoe if it executes on that really well. So that's what we'll see today. Maybe this is just the Oatly vanilla ice cream of the $140 daily trainer category. And for people who want just that normal ride experience, pun intended, maybe that's what we get out of the ride here. So 12-mile run this morning is the plan. Look at this. Bang. Shout out to longevity. We got the grass looking nice here, and we got the blue skies out. Can you see that? Can't even see that. Can't even see that. But yeah, another beautiful day in the burbs. Another great chance to get some miles in. Let's do it. All right, guys. Another day, another double. Another day, another 12 piece in the morning. 12 miles, 7:38 pace. 1 hour, 31 minutes, 59 seconds. And man, last night or yesterday, I was talking to you guys about Lydiard and his training, and I'm a big fan of Lydiard. That was one of my initial inspirations. He was an initial inspiration for me, and wow, look at that. I got sweat coming out of the eyelets. But he was an initial inspiration for me to start this high mileage training style. And recently there's been a name popping up a few times, Canova. And I've heard him come up here and there. I actually used to be a member of, you guys know Steve Scullion, 209 marathoner, Steve Scullion, Under Armour guy. Great guy. He's ripped, man. He's ripped. Absolutely ripped. But I used to be a member of his community on YouTube and was chatting with him, and he said Canova was a big inspiration for him as well. So Canova, Italian coach of elites. And what he emphasizes, similar to Lydiard. Lydiard, yesterday I was telling you, is about steady state miles, high mileage. A lot of people interpret that to be zone 2 or the slower, easy, relaxed pace. But what Lydiard actually says is you should try to do 100 miles a week at your steady state, at your aerobic maximum, which is about 10 seconds to 40 seconds slower than marathon pace, depending on terrain, weather, and it's very hot out here and humid today. But a little bit faster. That's what exerts the most pressure on the aerobic system and gets the best results. Now, of course, we can't all do that, and especially if we are hobby joggers, recreational runners, there's no way we're going to be running 100 miles a week at that steady state. But that's why you see elites running 100 miles a week at a 6 flat pace or 6:10 or 5:55, because that's closer to their steady state range, their aerobic maximum. Their heart rate might not be up at the same place as ours, but that's really the zone for them. Anyway, what Canova says is basically you should be running as much as possible at marathon pace. So not too much different than Lydiard. And he also says that it's not really efficient or optimal for most of us to run any miles slower than that. However, the other part of it, and this is the thing with a lot of these philosophies, they get distilled down to the one thing that's easiest to remember. So for Lydiard, what's easiest to remember is, high mileage. We got to run a lot of miles slow. That's not actually what he says. For Canova, he doesn't actually say for everybody that's the best thing. He also has this other piece of the philosophy. And I read this from a third-party source. That's a fancy way of saying on Reddit. But that it takes 10 years to build the aerobic base. And that's the key. That's the crux of what we're doing here, right? We have to build up this aerobic house. I didn't run in high school or college. I've only been doing this for 4 to 5 years. So for me and for most of us, especially if you haven't been running 40 plus miles a week for the past 5 years, just doing that, consistently running 50 plus miles a week will get you those gains for the marathon, for the 5K, for the 10K, heck, even for the mile. So we got a lot of work to do to build this aerobic house. So 7:38, a little bit slower than I would have liked for my aerobic miles to cycle. I'm trying to keep them between 7 and 7:30, but if you take a look at the weather today, and this is the thing, right? It's already, can you see that? It's already 76, but it is humid. So I'll take that 7:40, nice aerobic run in the Ride 17 here. Let's brighten this up. Bang. And man, similar to the Triumph, this is a serviceable shoe. Now, I don't know if I like it more or less than the Triumph. We'll have to look at this. This is like fish gills right here. We'll have to wait till I get the second run in this to decide, but there's nothing about the shoe that's blowing me away. It's serviceable. It is a little bit firmer, and similar to the Nova Blast, this is something I was thinking. It's almost like the first 30 minutes of this, I wanted to take it off my foot because it felt like overkill. It felt too firm. It felt like, and it's not a super tall stack shoe. There is a lot of cushion, but it's not the most cushion. But it just felt like a little bit too much underfoot for what I needed. And then, oh, look at that. We got the berry juice on here. But as we got past that 30-minute mark, started to feel a little bit better. But man, there's certain places of this run where it just felt firm, and the Power Run Plus felt like it wasn't giving me what I needed. And then there was other places where I just felt so locked in to this 7:30 pace, and the shoe was maintaining that pace with no effort. Almost similar to, and this might be slanderous for some of you guys, but almost similar to a shoe like the Super Blast, where you get into that pace and it just holds you there. Invincible 3 is another shoe that does that. I think SC Trainer V2 might be another one that does that a little bit, but when you get into that pace and it feels like you can't go any slower or any faster, and the shoe just wants to hold you there, that's what this guy does at around that 7:30 pace range. And of course, our pace was modulating as we were going up and down the hills, but it really did want me to be there. But man, the forefoot of this does feel really firm. It's not going to bottom out at all, and 7:30 is pretty much normal aerobic, maybe a little bit faster than recovery, so I have to put a little bit of effort into the shoe, to hold that pace. And it has a nice bounce to it. And it's not necessarily a super fun bounce like the Skyward X or the Rebel V3, but a bounce where it's that Energizer Bunny thing where it just wants to keep going and going and going. And no matter if you want to speed up or slow down, it's going to hold you there. So if we're thinking about this workhorse daily trainer category, I'm sure this shoe is going to go for miles and miles and miles. It's got the XT900 rubber. It's going to be very durable. Definitely not the most fun option out there, but felt pretty decent for this 12-mile run. Now, the question is, would I take this over the Rebel V4? Would I take it over the Nova Blast? Would I take it over the Mach 6? Those are all questions that we're going to have to answer on the second run, but as of now, I'm still having a little bit of trouble figuring out what the one thing is that the Ride 17 is best at versus its competitors. Maybe that it has a little bit more of that traditional, slightly firmer ride. Maybe that the foam is going to be more durable. I'm sure we'll get more miles out of this than the Mach 6. That could be it. It's definitely a little bit easier to run in than the Nova Blast. Doesn't feel like as much overkill as the Nova Blast, but still it had a little bit of that same feel. So that's the one thing that I'm not quite sure. But 12 miles in the books. Another beautiful day out here in the burbs. We got to get some recovery in. I need some water, some calories. I also finished the Matty Fitz nutrition book, so I want to break down a little bit later some of the learnings from that. It was a good book. By the way, guys, if you have more book recommendations for me, please let me know. I finished all those book recommendations that you guys sent me last time, so we're working our way through and need some more. All right, Ride 17. Nice job, buddy. And yeah, putting these back, thinking about some of the other shoes, training shoes that I would run in, something like the 1080 is going to be a lot more comfortable. Something like the Nova Blast. This is a little bit more fun, also lighter weight with more foam. And that's the thing. This came in at about 300 grams, 10 ounces. Nova Blast is lighter with more weight, probably a little bit more of a comfortable upper, but maybe a little bit weirder to run in. And then we have the Invincible down there, Invincible 3. Something like that is going to be a lot more fun than the Ride 17. So we still got to find out That's my mission with all these shoes. Find out what's that thing that this shoe can do that nothing else on the market can do. We're still figuring that out. And man, I should put back these DV8 Nitros here. Gotta send the Rocket X2 back to my guy Brian. And yeah, with shoes like the DV8 Nitro, this is the thing with the value proposition as well. This guy's now on sale for, someone told me they picked it up for under $100 at Dick's. And same thing with the Vomero here. You can also find this guy for under $100 at Dick's. And I'd probably take the Vomero or the DV8 Nitro 2 over the Ride 17. But we'll have to see, guys. All right, guys, time to hit a little bit of work here and shower. I'll see you in a bit. All right, guys, 10:57, 10:58, look at that, boom. Time for a little bit of an early lunch action. I think we might have another quick turnaround on the double today, just because of how my schedule is working out, which means we got to fuel up. Whenever this happens, we got to fuel up quickly and then get back out there. So Charlie, she was kind enough to make some frozen burritos. Now, she used to do these all the time, and they're my absolute favorite because when I was running like 4-mile recovery runs, I would just be able to pop these in the oven just right before I was running, come back, then they'd be ready. But now that I'm doing longer runs in the morning, I can't do that because it's not safe to have the oven on. And also can't just, if we had one of those, air fryers or little programmable ovens, then I could do that. But yeah, the one she made yesterday, and I think this is the same thing, just frozen, had some rice. I think it had some tempeh, a little vegan cheese. And look at that, she even pre-grilled it and everything. Man, fire. She really needs to start something with food. It's insane. She just creates these ridiculous concoctions. So look at that, boom. We're gonna pop it in the oven for probably, 30 minutes. And then you have a nice, healthy, hearty lunch. Shout out to Charlie per usual. But yeah, I was telling you guys that I finished that nutrition book. I'll grab it so I can show you some of my top learnings from it, because there was some good stuff in there. And then there was also some stuff where I was like, you know what? We don't need to follow everything by the book, because with all of this stuff, guys, it's about what can you do feasibly, what's going to make the biggest change, and out of all these things, which are going to help us hit our goals. And a lot of what he was saying, the general framework was called diet quality balance. And so his whole philosophy, and I'll show you the table, but he lays out 10 food groups. By the way, this is very finicky. He lays out 10 food groups, and it's a hierarchy. So it goes vegetables, fruits, whole grains, etc. And you eat the ones higher up more than the ones lower down, which is super simple. And I just love simple frameworks like that. Hold on, I gotta fill this water. We need 2 hands. All right, I got about 75% of the water. Sometimes I'll do the full one. Sometimes, man, that thing is finicky. If you know how to fix a fridge water dispenser, let me know. It sticks. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to ask you guys is, if you know how to clean these watch straps, let me know. It's starting to smell like my running clothes. And I've been trying to just wash it with soap and water, but it also just happened all of a sudden. Like one day, yesterday, it just started smelling weird. Before that, I didn't have any issues. And then now I'm waking up in the middle of the night and smelling it. Ugh, it's not what you want. But hold on, I'm going to go grab that book that I was talking about. Okay, here we go. So this was the book, Maddie Fit's New Rules of Marathon and Half Marathon Nutrition. And so this is the framework. This is what everything in the book is based off of. It's called the diet quality balance. And I like it because it's so simple. So there's 10 food categories, and anything with a lower number or higher up here, higher quality ranking: vegetables 1, fruits 2, nuts and seeds 3. You eat more than the stuff below. It's so intuitive. So it says you should eat vegetables more than fruits, fruits more than nuts and seeds more than fish and lean meats more than whole grains. The one thing is, if you're running higher mileage like I am, he bumps up whole grains. But in general, it's just such a simple way to think about food. And how I've already been interpreting this and using it is, if I'm hungry at the end of the day and I already ate a brownie for my snack, I'm thinking, should I have another brownie with milk for dessert? Sometimes I just do that. Or should I have some more leftovers from dinner, which have the vegetables and whole grains, because that's going to round out my diet a little bit better. And most of us already think this way, or some of us already think this way, and I try to eat like this most of the time, but it's a nice reinforcement of just super simple principles. So this was probably my biggest takeaway from the book. And with any of these frameworks, it's not following it to a T, but if we can use this to sharpen our eating just a little bit more, I think that's a win. And to make good eating decisions throughout the day. Now, as you guys know, I like to balance processed foods or convenient foods. And that the one thing is, I don't love the word quality. And this is something someone commented recently about with runs. Oftentimes we'll say, I'm doing 2 quality runs this week, or that meaning I'm doing 2 runs with prescribed pace, 2 workouts. Every run that we're doing should be quality because it's helping us reach our goals. And so same thing here. I don't love that it's saying refined grains are low quality, sweets are low quality. These are all important parts of a balanced diet. And he does talk about that, right? Eating is partially psychological as well as physical. So making sure we can eat the foods that we enjoy is just as important as eating a lot of vegetables and the right number of carbs to fuel our workout. So it's a bit of a balance. But yeah, so the other thing was carbs. He put some numbers to it, and what I liked is in the back he has these training guides, so different training plans. And I don't love the actual training plans, but he pairs it with nutrition plans, and most of them are the exact same, but he gives some guidance for carbs. So I think I already have a pretty good sense of how much I need to eat to fuel myself and to fuel my workouts for high mileage. And guys, I actually, for 2 years, it was 2020 to 2022, I believe that's when I stopped, 2022, I wrote down everything that I ate for 2 years. I can show you at some point. So I've gone through periods of having a laser focus on my diet, and now I do more of intuitive eating by hunger, and I understand the basics for me and what works for me. So I don't necessarily need to be weighing out 3 to 4 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight for myself, because I have a good understanding of what I need. But it is good guidance, and I think especially if you're coming into this a little bit newer, might be helpful to understand the basics of nutrition. So for general diet, most of what he's suggesting here is 3 to 4 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight, and then recovery nutrition, 0.4 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight right after. So let me do a little bit of quick maths here on the phone. So I am 160 pounds. So let's see. 160 pounds to kg. That is 72.575 kilograms. Okay. So then 3 grams per kilogram. So 72 times 3. I can do that in my head. That's 210. So banana carbs. How many carbs are in a banana carbs content? 27. Okay. So 27 grams of carbs in a banana, 0.4 grams of carbs per kilogram. So 72, let's do this again, hold on. 72, I did the wrong way, times 0.4, I can already tell you that's going to be about 28. So look at that, guys. Recovery nutrition. For most people out there, if you eat a banana within 45 minutes of completing your workout, that's going to have enough carbs for recovery, according to Matty Fitz, if you're around 160 pounds. So this is just general guidelines, general guidance, and that's not earth-shattering to say eat a banana after working out or drink a glass of chocolate milk or have some fast digesting carbs, but it's good basics, good fundamentals, understanding the things that we can do to the simple things, right? The simple things that we can do to improve our running. And so those are my takeaways from this book. Making sure we get our recovery nutrition in right after we run, which I haven't done yet. That's not great. Making sure that we get enough carbs throughout the day so that we're fueled up and ready to hit it again for either the double or the run the next morning. And then those diet quality guidelines. So making sure that we're eating the right foods to feel good, because that's what it's about too, right? If I'm just eating pasta all day, I don't feel as good as when Charlie makes one of those beautiful lentil soups with the potatoes and the lentils, of course, and the coconut milk. Fire. She made one the other day that was fire with the brown rice. Ooh, those whole grains, not those refined grains. I'm trying to work on that. Refined grains are definitely my weakness. You saw that burrito had the white flour wrap. But yeah, those are the three takeaways, right? Recovery nutrition, making sure we're getting that in, making sure we're getting enough carbs throughout the day, because we can feel a lot more fatigued after workouts and during workouts if we're carb deficient, and then making sure that we're getting good mix of different food groups. Let's just say it that way, a good mix of different food groups throughout the day. So thank you, Matty Fitz. I learned something from every book that I read. I appreciate you, man. Look at that. Look at that, man. That's a man with a plan. All right, guys. I'm going to let this burrito cook, do a little bit of work, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, look at that. 11:31, and I can smell that perfectly cooked burrito just wafting from the kitchen. Let's see. I think it's going to be perfectly cooked, but you never know. Boom. Boom. Oh, I got a little bit crispy, but it looks pretty good. Now, this is the part of the program where you just got to let it cool. Let it cool and make some coffee. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, a little working lunch. We got the perfectly grilled and then oven toasted burrito. Look at that thing, fire. Of course, we got the coffee. I went with the super fruity lemonade coffee again. I had to order Charlie the Hatchet Spring Blend. I'll show you guys that when it comes here. She was like, I can't drink this fermented stuff anymore. And then we got a little brownie. I don't know what Matty Fitz would say about that, but we're just gonna eat the brownie. I'll see you guys for the second run in a little bit. All right, guys, about to hit a little afternoon snack here. Look at this, I don't know, deconstructed granola bar that Charlie made. It's absolutely fire. This is the thing she made yesterday. It's got the oats for the granola and then melted chocolate holding it together, chia seeds, cashews, and dried cranberries. It's basically a complete food for us runners. The only thing that is missing is vegetables. I guess if you poured some beet juice on this and ate it like cereal, that'd be everything you need. But we're about to eat this little guy, little snack here, and then hit our second run. But I want to pull all of the shoes here that are either $140 or that you can find for $140, because that would be the competitive set for the Ride 17. So Nova Blast, boom. Deviate Nitro 2, we're going to include this guy. Invincible 3, I'm not going to include this one only because you can find it in some places, but I'm not sure when the Invincible 4 is coming out, and I just wouldn't put it in there quite yet. But Vomero 17, this is consistently under 140. This is for 100 right now. And then we got the Rebel and Bada Boom Mach 6. And then we also have the Brooks Ghost, and what's the other one? I'm trying to think. Brooks Ghost Supernova Rise. I'll actually pull that guy. Okay, boom. We got a lot of shoes here. Brooks Ghost and 880. I'm not going to include those two just because 880, no. Brooks Ghost, I know none of you guys are going to buy it, so I'm not even going to waste your time with including it here. But I do like the foam on that one. Let's take a look at it just really quickly. I promise I won't do it for any more time than I need to, but ooh. This has a super nice, super critical EVA foam. This is one of the best training foams I've tried. It's just, I know not a lot of people are going to consider this shoe if you're watching this double day video, so I'm not going to waste your time with it. But everything else out here is competitive to the Saucony Ride. And we can talk about them after the second round, but I'm going to eat my snack here. Look at this. I'm going to eat my snack here, and then we can go hit this run and then do the breakdown and comparison. See you in a bit. All right, guys, I'm just eating my snack here, but I've been talking the past few weeks about Saucony's Hey Fellow Kids marketing, and this is just a good example. This was their Mother's Day email, which is reminding me I have to get Charlie something for Mother's Day. She's in the other room. But first of all, this is their new design aesthetic. This font, I can barely read it, and everything that they're doing with their marketing is just screaming that they're trying to be cool. With this font, they're trying to be cute here, what she really wants for Mother's Day, a vegetable that all my children love, or even just like, I think they just made up these personas here. And it doesn't stop here. They've been doing this for, let me see if I can find the Saucony Ride, the initial launch email. Yeah, look, this is just another random email, but look at this font. You can barely read it. They're really trying to look cool with it. Another one, Endorphin Pro 4, your ride or die partner. Nobody says that. Nobody talks like that. And oh, look at this, guys. I've been actually wondering how much power and HG you get in the Pro 4. Look at that. Boom. Wow, okay, we'll have to keep this email ready for the next time that I run in the Pro 4. That's good to know. I'm going to forward it to my Supwell email. Bada boom. Yeah, guys, by the way, if you ever have any shoe questions, just email me right there. Or training questions or life questions. I do everything except for marriage counseling. Just email me at yuana@supwell.io. But let me find this. I need to find this, the launch email for the Ride 17. It's too good. Okay. Meet the Ride 17. So smooth, you'll want to take a break from scrolling. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Ride 17, completely redesigned cushioning, so addictively comfortable. And they had this whole campaign that was around stopping scrolling, which I like that, right? I like that. We're trying to get people outside. We're trying to get people out of their phones and the computers. But yeah, just something about the messaging and the marketing, this link is expired, is just not hitting for me. Everything that Saucony's doing, and I've talked about this a little bit, but they're trying to, and look at this, Triumph 22, they have little emojis exploding out of the midsole here. And this is what they're trying to do with the Triumph, with the Ride, with the Guide. They're trying to make these more of lifestyle shoes. And so look at this. This was another one, a screenshot I took of something I saw on Instagram on the Saucony Malaysia feed. But look at this, Saucony Guide 17. It says the ultimate support utility vehicle. They're just trying really hard to be relatable, to strike a chord, probably A minor, with a new audience. And this is what I was thinking about on my run today. I understand the appetite to reach a new audience with shoes like the Ride here, but the thing is, Saucony had such a stranglehold on the hobby jogger market in 2022 and 2023, and I think starting in 2021 really, with the Endorphin Pro 3. This thing was the darling to hobby joggers for racing shoes. This thing right here, and then if we take a look at the secret stash back here, the Speed 2, right? This was a shoe that a lot of people love. So Saucony did have a core audience. It's just they wanted to be like Hoka. They wanted to be like Nike. And they were not content with just having a solid, reliable shoe for daily miles for runners. They want this to be more than that. So I think some of the changes that I'm not quite loving in both the Triumph and this are because they're trying to make these more lifestyle shoes. But if you look at a shoe like the 1080 here, right? Just look at the design of this thing, the foam, the fit, the comfort. This is a much better lifestyle shoe than something like the Ride 17 here. So, and even another one here, right? On Cloud Eclipse. They don't have to try to make this a lifestyle shoe. It just is. It performs well for running, and it looks cool. Saucony is missing a little bit of that cool factor, and let me tell you right now, you can't do that by having a cool marketing font. So they've got some things to work on. And if their corporate priority is to reach a larger audience, I would start by just feeding the streets, feeding the hobby joggers with better products like you were doing in 2021 and 2022. But hey, who am I? I don't even have my official MBA yet, so maybe when I do, we can do some consulting for Saucony. Just kidding. I'm not going to get paid by shoe brands, even though people accuse me of that. But all right, I got to finish my snack now, and then we're going to get some miles in the Ride 17. Boom, snack finished. We will clean up these plates later. I promise. I always clean up after myself. We got to get some running clothes on. And look at this. It's looking a little bit dreary, but let's see. Woo! Feeling. It is not feeling dreary. It is feeling muggy, like a New England summer. 76 this morning, 86. This afternoon said, put some respect on my heat. We're coming. 86. I'm trying to think of who's a football player who's 86. That's kind of like a tight end number. 86. I don't know. Was Hines Ward 86? I don't know. All the wide receivers now are like number 17 or something. Number 4. I don't like that. Go back to the old system of numbers, NFL. But this is definitely shirtless vibes this afternoon. And this is a little nice, smooth. I don't know if I would call it true recovery, but definitely a little bit more of a relaxed vibe that we're going for. So hit them with the tier shorts. I got to rock some of the tier shoes soon. Let me know which one of the tier shoes you want to see me test again. I should probably get some more miles in the Speedworks. Maybe do a double day on that guy next week or the week after. That's a fun shoe. I did the Deviate Nitro yesterday. So I think we're just going to go with that. And then I need to get the running hat. Let's see. And guys, I know I got to get more hobby jogger hats. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just do that and drop them this week. We'll see. Some point soon. But we will go with this kind of weird Durham, North Carolina hat. Because we're going to Durham for the graduation this weekend. All right, I'll get these clothes on and then see you. See you in a second. Run number two. Yeah, I think Saucony, they're in my crosshairs right now. They have my wrath, my ire. They just can't get it right now. Man, some brands, they get hot and then others get cold. And it feels like Saucony is in a little bit of a cold streak right now. And they showed their hand, man. I don't think they're hiding anything up their sleeves for the rest of 2024 that's going to drop and be a banger. They showed the Kinvara 15 at the running event, which is coming out in a few weeks. I was on the Running Warehouse website. By the way, I was looking at the description of the Kinvara 15 earlier, and it was clearly written by AI. Man, whenever I see something written by AI, I'm just like, oh gosh, you can't fake good prose. You can't fake simple communication. That's the thing about AI, man. When there's too many adjectives and weirdly injected adverbs that don't make sense, like, bro, that's AI, artificial intelligence. But they showed that. They didn't show a Kinvara Pro 2, so maybe they're going to come out of nowhere and drop a Kinvara Pro 2, but, I mean, the Endorphin Pro 4, that's a really good shoe. But the thing is, man, they dropped that at the top of the year, and nothing else coming out of the Saucony camp is really doing it or getting me excited. Maybe the Endorphin Edge, too, on the trail side could be cool, but Ride 17, so far, this one has just been average. Triumph 22, I know some of you guys are liking it, but again, that's not going to be a top best shoe, I don't think, for a lot of people. They need something like the Skyward X. I don't know what they need. Maybe, you know what could be cool? All right, hear me out, guys. What could be cool, and they didn't actually show this at the running event, but maybe for the next generation of the Sinister 2, maybe they did something super cool for that shoe. Bring some more heat to that 5K, 10K racing segment. That could be cool. But Speed 4, that was a little bit of a miss for me. Ride 17 so far is not doing it. Triumph 22 so far is not doing it. And Shift 3 they killed off, which is one of my favorite shoes. Actually, Hurricane. The Hurricane, that could be the shoe. That could be the shoe that does it, that gets me back in the Saucony camp. But they've fallen out of my top 3. They might have even fallen out of my top 5 brands. And they were top 1, top 2 for a long time for me. But I think the ranking right now is, I'm not going to spoil it, but we got some other brands. I should do a video on that, my top brands. But yeah, Saucony, man, the Hurricane, hopefully that one's good. It's got the top layer of Power Run PB, the bottom layer of the standard Power Run, which is in the Kinvara as well, just that standard EVA. And so I actually don't know if I'm even going to test the new Kinvara when it comes out. I probably will, but it's just not that exciting to me to test a standard EVA shoe in 2024 when we have so many more exciting, better options on the market that you can find for the same price or cheaper. And it's nothing against standard EVA. It's just value proposition. And that's why I'm getting so fired up about the Ride 17. So far, the value proposition of the shoe has not been great. If this were the price of the Kinvara, $120, maybe it would be a little bit better, but for $140, and we'll bring out all the other shoes after I hit this run to the shoe market out here. But for that $140, I'm thinking that this isn't going to be the one for a lot of people, but we'll get to that later. The last thing I was going to say about the Hurricane, which is coming soon, so that's the max cushion shoe to replace the Shift 3. It's got the Power Run PB on top, so that racing foam with the firmer foam on the bottom. I'm worried about 2 things with that shoe, really 3 things. But first, Power Run PB, if it's the same version that we saw in the Triumph, probably going to be too firm, probably not going to be as exciting as we'd think given the endorphin speed and pro shoes. Second thing, weight. The Triumph was a very heavy shoe, and if I'm remembering correctly, based on seeing, feeling, holding, touching, tasting the Hurricane in my hands and mouth at the running event, I think it's going to be a little bit heavier, just like the Triumph. So the Triumph was coming in at 330 grams in my size, which is about 30 grams to 40 grams heavier than most other max cushion shoes. The Hurricane, with that Power Run, the standard EVA on the bottom, ooh, boy, that might be coming in at 350 or something ridiculous like that. So that's the second thing. And then third thing is just the girthiness and the bulk of that shoe. It is a chunky shoe. So is it just going to feel super awkward? Is it going to be more like a Bondi competitor? By the way, guys, I did see the Bondi 9. It turns out my boss from my 9 to 5, she's a tester for Hoka. So they send her all this crazy stuff. So she was rocking the Bondi 9 down in Savannah. I'm not going to be that guy and leak pictures of it. But yeah, I saw the Bondi 9. So is the Hurricane going to be more of a Bondi competitor? Or will Saucony play back the hits for their core audience here? Guys, Saucony, come on. Stop trying to use the cool fonts. Just send us hobby joggers an email in Times New Roman telling us you dropped a banger. That's what I want. All right. I'm fired up. We got to get these miles in. 8 miles recovery. Nice and easy. Nice and easy aerobic recovery. It's hot out here. I don't know what the pace is going to be. We're just going to have some fun with it. Let's do it. All right, guys, we are back for another episode of retying the left shoe. I think we actually might have had to do this on the first run with the Ride, or was it the Cloud Eclipse? I don't know. Either way, this might be a good opportunity to talk about the upper here, which I didn't talk about earlier, but for the first 30 minutes of that run earlier, I did feel a weird digging sensation in the back of the shoe, and it has a very, can you hear this? You hear how hard that is? It has a very hard plastic cup in the back here, which I think is contributing to some of that weight. So everything about the shoe is a little bit stiff and structured, and I guess maybe it's for durability, but there's a little bit too much structure in this upper, especially on the back here. It was feeling a little bit awkward to me at some points of that run, but the fit is solid. It does have that classic narrower Saucony feel here. So right along this left side on my left foot, you can see my pinky toe poking out, just poking out. Yeah, I'm hitting you with that whisper flow a lot. Wait till you see him. Hey, wait till you see him. like the yin yang twins out here. But yeah, it's a little bit tight on this side. That classic narrow Saucony fit. The midfoot is solid, and I do think this is going to be a good shoe for people who want that solid structured feel, but not necessarily the most comfortable upper. But we do have some nice padding on the tongue, and you can crank down the laces because of that. You get the flat lay laces plus the padding. You can crank them down without getting any lace bite. So tongue and lacing system, good, solid, comfortable. Toe box, narrow. Midfoot, secure. Not too snug, secure. And then heel, a little bit weird. Weird heel. That was a good way to do uppers. I might have to do this. And then material, average, a little bit hard. I'll come back with the breathability. That was good though. What did I just do? Tongue and lacing, toe box, midfoot, heel, and breathability. Bang! That's the 5-point upper test, baby.
All right, guys, another 8 miles down, 7:52 pace. We were struggling through a little bit after that hill, but we got 20 miles today on the Ride 17. That's 40 miles in the past, 31 hours. People keep telling me I need to do an ultra. Maybe I should do that. I'm scared though. But the other thing is, I was gonna say, look at this. It is about to absolutely open up. I can hear some low rumbles over there in that direction, and it overall just has an ominous vibe. Like the sky is about to explode, implode, just let free its fury on us. So let's pop these things off and then try to do this breakdown outside quickly as much as we can before the rain comes. All right, guys, I was talking to myself here as I was taking off my shoes, but I was talking about the power of momentum and inertia and this idea of starting small, just starting something one day, and the power of getting something in flight and keeping it going. And speaking of flight, look at the sky. It's really, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, look at that. Look at that contrast. Look at those dark clouds. But man, it is a really powerful thing to start a habit, to start small and just every day committing to doing something to work toward a goal. And I was thinking about that because now it's easier for me to run than it is not to run. Same thing with doing this channel because I've committed to it. Now, do we get any shoes? I don't think so, but we may have gotten coffee. Let's see. But yeah, man, the reason I'm saying this is because if you want to start a habit, whether it's running, fitness, art, poetry, career related, if you can start doing something every day, anything, whether it's drinking a glass of water out of the same blue cup every day, that can set you on the path to doing whatever you want to do every day. I didn't start off with running every day. I still don't run every day, but same thing with this channel. I actually started off a few years ago. I would do this one ab workout every day. And since then, 2020, I've had a daily habit for 4 years. So man, the power of these small habits, don't underestimate it.
Woo! Man. All right, guys. Look at this. Bang. 20 miles in the Saucony. And I have a new nickname for it. The Saucony Ride 17. It's the Saucony tried to connect with the 17-year-olds. The Saucony tried to become a relevant mainstream lifestyle brand. Saucony tried to deviate away from their core, their base, and they watered down, they diluted the product that made them such a loved, beloved, cherished, adored brand for us shoe fanatics, us hobby joggers, us running gear enthusiasts in 2021 and 2022. So this product right here, the Saucony Ride 17, is not a bad running product by any means, but it does symbolize and suggest, well, it symbolizes what Saucony's doing right now that's not right, and suggests the direction they're trying to
take the brand, which is to appeal to a more mainstream, not core running audience, lifestyle audience. And for me, the shoe does not succeed on any of those fronts. If we think about lifestyle, I'd rather go On, I'd rather go Nike, I'd rather go Hoka, I'd rather go New Balance. And if we're thinking about a pure workhorse, if we're thinking about a pure workhorse daily trainer shoe that you want to put a lot of miles in, there are so many better options than this shoe at $140. But 20 miles in it today, there were some good things. So let's start off with the good things before the sky absolutely dumps on us. So the foam here is not a bad foam. If you like a firmer ride with a slight bounce, you might like the Ride 17 here. It's just when you compare it to a lot of the other options on the market, it comes up pretty unremarkable. So that's a good thing. The other good thing is the rubber coverage, and it wasn't raining today, but it did rain last week, and we did have some pretty good grip off of this guy. Same thing with the Triumph 22. Two good things. And then the upper, decently breathable. It's about, 85, 86 degrees, my watch said. I think it's cooling off here because the sky's about to open up, but the upper was pretty breathable, so this is not going to be an uncomfortable shoe for the summertime. So it is a serviceable shoe, and if you're thinking about someone who's going to go into a Run for Your Life or Fleet Feet or Dick's Sporting Goods, or they actually don't sell these at Dick's, and that's a miss, Saucony. If you're trying to become more of a relevant lifestyle brand or a lifestyle brand, get your shoes into Dick's. But that's besides the point. If you're thinking about someone who's going into a specialty running store and just want a normal shoe to do a 30-minute run in, to walk the dog, this shoe is perfectly fine for that. There's nothing objectionable about it. It's not a bad shoe, and I think if you're watching this video and scared that I'm gonna absolutely rip into the shoe, well, I already am, but I'm not gonna say it's a terrible shoe. I don't think there are very many terrible shoes on the market. Even the Triumph 22 is not a bad shoe. It's just that for the price and compared to everything else out there, not my favorite. So that's a similar thing with this shoe here. Not a bad shoe, just really unremarkable, really forgettable. It's gonna be okay for those 30-minute runs. It's gonna be okay for walks, but not the most comfortable shoe, not the most exciting, not the most fun. And as you guys know, the one, I try to get to the pearl, that little juicy, the one tidbit, the one thing with the shoe that makes it better than any other shoe, or that is better than any other shoe. And I gotta say, this is the best shoe with a boring ride on the market. So if you want a firm shoe or just a plain, I'm not even gonna use the word firm because everyone has a different definition of that. But if you want a shoe with a simple, plain ride that's gonna be decently protective, a nice slight bounce to it, that's the Ride 17. There's lightning and Charlie's coming. And there's serious thunder. It keeps threatening, but I don't know. It's not coming. Watch me get struck down here. No, knock on wood. I don't think we have any wood, and the coffee didn't come. But yeah, if you're looking for something with a plain and simple ride that's not going to be too cushioned, that's not going to sink in, that doesn't feel like an absolutely max cushion cruiser, but does have some level of comfort and protection, this could be a good option. But I do want to highlight some of the much better options on the market for that up there, because if that is you, then I think that you can have a little bit better luck with a shoe like maybe the Supernova Rise or the Nova Blast 4. So those are my thoughts down here on the Ride 17. It's gonna start pouring rain, so I wanna go up there, but the last thing that I'll say about it is 20-mile double day. What I like to check for is how did the foam hold up? The foam held up really well, not bottoming out, felt very consistent from start to finish. So these types of shoes that perform like this are typically better for bigger runners who want a little bit more support. Again, I think they're better options on the market for that use case, but this will be a serviceable shoe for that. And the other thing is comfort through those 20 miles was a decently comfortable shoe. So if we're thinking about passing or failing, if I had to give the shoe a grade, I would say it passed solid B, maybe B minus, not a bad shoe. Again, it's just nothing remarkable about this shoe. If it were my only shoe, I would run in it, but there's nothing about the ride here that's making me want to pull for this shoe again tomorrow for a recovery run or for a long run. It's just a really forgettable shoe that I think will work well if you need something for short distance, for walking, but isn't the best shoe for really anything out there other than being unobjectionable. So Saucony Ride 17, the most unobjectionable shoe on the market in 2024. Let us go do some alternatives, because this isn't the one that I'll really recommend for anybody.
All right, guys, last thing here. We have all the alternatives to the Saucony Ride 17. I don't usually bring out
these many alternatives, but this is a case where there's so many shoes on the market at this price point or lower that I wanted to highlight some of the best ones. So we'll just start down here. First one up here is the New Balance Rebel V4. So this was a shoe I really liked. It's not the most stack. It's lightweight, really lightweight compared to everything else out here. I think this is the lightest weight one. The Mach 6 might be a little bit lighter, but either way, very lightweight shoe. And it's interesting because a lot of these other shoes here in this workhorse category, and when I say that, I mean they're designed for durability, they're designed for a lot of miles, they're designed to be versatile. A lot of these shoes have more built-up outsoles, they have more going on. The Rebel goes in a different direction. It does have a decent amount of outsole coverage, but it goes with this more lightweight construction, a soft, bouncy foam, and is a more minimalist shoe than almost anything else at this $140 price point. This one's actually $135. So if you're looking for that more traditional feeling shoe, I would go for the Rebel here. It's almost like an elevated Saucony Convara in that it has that lightweight, that lower stack, and lower stack, again, comparative. Everything is relative, but lower stack compared to everything else on the market in this bracket, and then a nice little bit of a rolling rock here, which that Ride 17 did not have. So if you want something lighter weight, minimal, this is a lot more fun. I would have definitely chosen this over the Ride 17. I think the only thing the Ride 17 is better at is going to be for bigger runners, or if you just want a more supportive, firmer feeling. This is not the most supportive foam here. It feels a little bit lightweight, not like put it on the scale lightweight like when you know the NBA players, they do that thing like small, bro. Kind of lightweight like that. This isn't a beefy built up shoe, but fun shoe, fast shoe, good for short distance. Also much better, again, guys, much better for casual wear. Just looks cooler. New Balance doesn't have to try, and they make good looking lifestyle shoes, this and the 1080. So a little bit cooler overall. So that's the first pick here. Oh no, we got to treat our shoes nicely. That's the first pick. Second pick, comfort. So that's the fast, lightweight one. If you want a comfortable daily trainer, and that's the reason you're considering the Ride, the Supernova Rise is a good one to look at. This is a little bit of an underrated shoe right now. It doesn't get a ton of pop, and I think that's because Adidas, similar to Saucony actually, isn't the sexiest brand right now outside of their Audi Zero line. But I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this shoe for comfort miles. It's almost like a hybrid recovery running daily trainer. I think the Saucony Ride might be a little bit better for faster stuff, but this is super comfortable. This foam, take a look at this as I push it in with my finger. Foam is nice and soft with some bounce back there. And so the one downside I'd say, or two downsides, lots of padding, so it can feel a little bit too comfortable, maybe a little bit on the heavier side. And then it does have a 10 millimeter drop, which we have not been loving here on this channel, and I'm agreeing with a lot of you guys out there. The 10 millimeter drop isn't great, but that really means you're just getting more cushion out here in the back, because the forefoot does feel like there's enough stack, because that can be a downside of these 10 millimeter drop shoes. It feels like there's not enough stack in the forefoot. That's not the case with the Supernova Ride. So if you want something that's a little bit more on the comfortable side, softer, if you're hoping the Ride 17 would be super soft, it is not. I would go for something like this, and then we'll do two more direct competitors. So Nova Blast 4, this is the guy I would pick for long runs. This is pretty much exactly what the Ride 17 was trying to do in terms of running performance, which is more built up midsole at a lighter weight with some bounce to it, with stability and protection. That's what the Nova Blast 4 offers. Get a little nice bounce here off the forefoot, really stable. The upper does get a little bit hot, which the Ride 17 doesn't, but really comfortable shoe, great for long runs. This is my favorite non-plated shoe for long runs. So if you're looking for something for long runs, I'd go for this. The Ride 17 probably takes it in terms of on-foot comfort for walking around and stuff. I did see this one guy in Savannah wearing a pair of navy and yellow Nova Blast 4s to walk his dog. So you can use the Nova Blast for everyday stuff. Would not be my choice though, because the heel is a little bit chunky and it just feels a little bit awkward to walk around in a shoe like this. Both of those shoes are better for everyday use. So this is the one I would choose for long runs over the Ride. And then the last guy here, Mach 6. This is the one most people should get in the $140 category. Like the Rebel, it's lightweight, fast, bouncy, but has a little bit more cushion. Also a little bit more fun. Also, for some people, might be a little bit better for casual wear, but this is what I think Saucony was trying to do with the Ride, but they didn't really succeed in making it like the Nova Blast or making it like the Mach 6. It kind of exists in this weird in-between land where it's not as built up and protective and stable as the Nova Blast, and it's also heavier, and it's not as light, fun, and bouncy as the Mach 6. And it also doesn't even have as much foam as the Mach 6. The Mach 6 has more foam and is lighter weight. Same thing with the Nova Blast. So better technology in both of these shoes. They also both look better in my opinion. Nova Blast looks cooler for running. This guy looks cooler for casual wear. This is the one I would get for those. If you want something just fun for 30-minute runs, I go for the Mach 6. And then up here I have two kind of bonus picks because they're not necessarily directly in the category, but Vomero, again, this is kind of what Saucony's going for with the Triumph and the Ride, but not quite nailing it. And Nike is flying a little bit under the radar with the Vomero, but my favorite daily trainer right now, you got the soft, and that was just a school bus whipping, but you got this softer layer of ZoomX on the top, nice and bouncy. We were talking about this yesterday when I did the double in the DV8 Nitro 2. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but this is what I did double in. Both of these guys are great workhorse style shoes. DV8 Nitro 2 has some more fun to it, a little bit more bounce. With this Nitro Elite foam, you get more of it than the ZoomX in here. But man, both of these guys accomplish that workhorse thing better than the Ride 17. Vomero, because it's not a plated shoe, this is going to be better for walking around, gym, walking the dog, whatever it is. And then DV8 Nitro 2 going to be better for long runs, speed work. It's a lighter weight, plus has the foam and the carbon fiber plate. And guys, both of these, so the DV8 Nitro 2 you can find for $87 in some sizes at Dick's. They had some of the smaller sizes. They were out of my size, 10 and 10.5, but they had 11, 12, and then smaller than 10, I believe. So great deal. And then Vomero, also same thing, $95 in most sizes. So the reason I brought all these shoes out is to say, and I don't even have the Ride here, but with this market right now, look, 95, 95, 140, 140, 140, 135. It is a really tough sell for me to recommend a shoe like the Ride when there's a better shoe for every use case here at the same price or cheaper. And that's exactly my point here. Saucony tried. Saucony tried to make a shoe to appeal to the masses. Saucony tried to make a shoe to appeal to the 17-year-olds, and it's not quite hitting for everyone. I'm really hoping that, man, let Jesse cook. You guys know who Jesse is? Jesse Peterson, the product manager for their performance stuff. She was responsible for Speed 3 and a bunch of stuff. You got to let Jesse cook, man. Get those corporate edicts out of here. I know Jesse is not hyped about the Ride 17. So I'm hoping that their performance division can be a little bit more competitive in 2025. I'm not excited about the Kinvara. I haven't tried the Guide yet, but again, the technology there isn't probably not going to match up with anything here. And the Hurricane, I'm holding out hope for the Hurricane because the Speed 4 was a miss. The Ride 17, not a bad shoe, but not competitive. And same thing with the Triumph 22. The 10mm drop is killing that thing, and the Power Run PB did not hit for me. I know for some of you bigger runners, you're liking that shoe. So I'm hoping, and this is my question, guys, what is the Saucony shoe that you would take over these guys as a daily trainer? And I know some of you guys like the Speed 4. I did not like that shoe. It did not work for me. But what is the Saucony shoe that they want us hobby joggers to buy for daily training? Because the Ride 17 isn't competitive here. The Triumph is, even if some of you guys like that shoe in the foam, that's also a lot heavier than everything here. So I'm just a little bit confused what they're trying to do, what they're targeting us with, and if they've just completely abandoned the hobby jogger in 2024. It kind of feels a little bit like that. I know the Speed 4 is hit or miss for some of you guys, and we still have the Pro 4, which is one of the best shoes I've tested this year. So Pro 4 is the last thing that's given me some hope for Saucony to do something for us, and I really hope the Hurricane. And it looks like we're going to have a Hurricane out here, but I'm hoping the Hurricane 24 will also be a hit and maybe compete with the Nova Blast and Gel Nimbus, and maybe it can even compete with the Skyward X, but I'm not holding out hope for that. So that is all I have for you today, guys. As always, I appreciate you watching. It is really about to rain here. You hear that thunder? I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Guys, look at this. I'm like storm chasers out here. I'm gonna get inside before I get destroyed by a tornado or hurricane or whatever this is. Man, this is crazy. Yeah, we completely lost power. Even the generator is down. Huh, back on. What a roller coaster. Alright, guys. I think I will see you tomorrow. I'm not sure at this rate. Look who it is, though. They still made it. They still made it in the storm. Putting in that work. Are they coming for us? No, I don't think they're coming for us.